Hey everybody, MntDewMania here. Welcome back to the RedNeck Rant, and we are here on Vox, and I have been chipping away at my next biggest, hugest project, and I got to thinking about my next biggest, hugest project, and I got to thinking about, well, kind of about myself. Which I try not to do very often. I like to think that I'm not a self-centered kind of person, but I kind of fit into the subject that I want to talk about this week. A little more than I usually fit in. And if you are keeping up with the Redneck Rants, and I sincerely hope you are, you know that we are on the letter O. O is for organized. Okay, just so everybody knows what everybody's talking about. Went to the handy dandy dictionary and found a couple of different definitions to kind of clue everybody in on where I'm coming from. An adjective of organized would be orderly and efficient. The verb would be to form parts or elements of something into a structured whole, to arrange methodically or in order. Okay? Now, if you guys have watched me for any amount of time whatsoever, you know that I do have tendencies that are OCD. It took me the longest time to get out of having everything lined up methodically, and you do not know how hard it is for me to build circles. Or anything that is not just plumb and straight and just, it has to be, just, it can, I don't know if I'm OCD, I'm borderline. The last time that me and my doctor talked about it, I have the tendencies, but I do not have I don't do like what they call the rituals. I don't have to open and shut a door 3 or 4 times or turn a handle or, not to that degree. But I am a very listed person. My thing is lists. That's rubbed off on my daughter, believe it or not. And believe it or not, it's really come in handy. And it does come in handy in different aspects of your life. If you are a student in school right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You go to your locker, and the books are just tossed in, and the papers are just tossed in, and there's some here, and there's some there, and that should be over here. And you spend 10, 20 minutes looking through your locker, trying to figure out where that homework is that you have to turn in today, or you're going to get a 0 on it, and you can't find it because you're not organized. Okay? And then you go to the person right next to you, they're even worse than you are. It's horrendous. This is the kind of thing, when they open their locker, everything falls out. And they just cram it back in there. So, I guess my point is, when is too much enough? When do you just you look at yourself and go, oh my God, could I get any more anal than what I am right now? Probably the answer to that question is yes. If you are a list maker and a liner upper like me, being organized can sometimes go too far and hinder you in what you're trying to get accomplished in the first place. I am definitely all for you start at point A, and then you proceed naturally like you're supposed to point B, and if everything's lined up and straight, you'll get there. If it's not lined up and straight, you're going to have to go to F, K, M, L, Z, and then about 3 miles around O before you get back to B. And stuff like that drives me crazy. But the problem that comes along with it is that sometimes my analness about it can get on other people's nerves. And I'm talking to the point people get mad. When I go to work at Walmart, I work third shift. I am a stalker. Okay, I put stuff on the shelves. And when the unloaders get it off the truck and they get it all separated, they bring it out to us. They have floor jacks, and they pull it out on big pallets. And we have to put it nicely and neatly and organized on the shelves. Now, being OCD like I am, or OCD-ish, I'm in the perfect job, because I need to be organized and orderly and things like that, okay? But it can backfire on you too, because sometimes when people work with me, I cannot be flexible. And they might have a whole different style of chopping down a tree or putting things in their locker than I do, and it works for them. You might open this and, it's total chaos. I open it, I know where everything is. You might shove everything in your locker, and you could go to it blindfolded and pick out every single thing or point to every single thing because you know where it is. This works for you. I could stand there for 2 hours and not be able to find a pencil. It all depends on what works for you. And we tend to do that. We group ourselves. I love this person. They are so just attentive to details, Other people, it drives them crazy when people are organized that way. I know a girl, her whole life is nothing but Post-its. I am talking her desk, the wall behind her desk, the bookshelf over here, the little side desk over here. It is Post-it, 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 Post-it. Every single place you look, Post-it. And it's just scribbles. It's not even whole notes. That's what irritates me. It's a word. One word. It's a number. 2 or 3 numbers. They mean something to the person. They mean absolutely crap to me. Why is this crap stuck on this wall? Why is it not neat and organized on a pad, on a desktop note, something neat and straight and in a line, categories, alphabetized? Why is it just stuck all over the wall? That drives me insane. But to the person, it's perfectly normal. I have seen people, their desk, their office, their house, oh my God, it looked like a hurricane hit it. And the person could go right to anything, and they knew where everything was, and and I could have not even found some of the rooms. So being organized has its ups and downs. It can get hurtful actually in a relationship. If you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other, you are just a pristine OCD or straight liner to the max. It could take them a week to find a pair of socks. It can cause problems. And I'm talking hurt feeling, get the hell out of my house problems. Okay? Not just, well, that just irritates me. You know what? I hate your guts and get out of my house. It can get that bad. I've seen it get that bad. So, it's, something that Roseanne Barr said a long time ago in one of her very first acts that's always stuck with me. Excuse the mess, but we live here. Now, how many of y'all have went to somebody's house and you automatically just feel so comfortable you could just flop down on the couch, kick your feet up on the coffee table, shove a couple of magazines out of the way, move the clothes that's hanging on the end of the chair, and it's perfectly fine and you feel perfectly at home. How many places have you ever walked into and everything, oh my God, you're afraid to sit down because it looks like a museum? And I'm talking, seriously, you are afraid to touch anything, look at anything, and even if you do, the person comes right behind you and straightens it up. I have a friend like that. I kid you not, a long time ago, when I used to smoke, way long time ago, way back in the day, when me and my husband first got married, went to my friend's house, and I kid you not, put out a cigarette in the ashtray went directly to the kitchen, got washed and dried and put back on the table. I kid you not. And the person smoked, okay? I didn't say anything. I couldn't. I was shocked. Why do you even have an ashtray? I mean, won't you just tell people to go outside? you know? So there is lived in, and people find that very comfortable. And then there's those museum houses where you just don't want to touch anything because you're afraid to. And then there's places, I mean, there's been a couple of hoarders in my family, and you were afraid to walk through the house because something would fall on you. But the person could tell you every single piece of everything they've ever had from their childhood. And I look at it, and my teeth start clenching and my hands start shaking because I can't stand it. Now, of course, you know the famous sayings by Ben Franklin. I think Ben Franklin must have been OCD back in the day, because some of his pearls of wisdom went like, for every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned. Probably the most famous saying of all, and I know probably your mama has said it to you or something close to it: a place for everything and everything in its place. And that's true. Now, if you go to a chest, let's just use Minecraft since we're standing here in the middle of it. You go to a chest, and every day you put your fishing pole right there. If you do that enough, eventually you don't even have to have these labeled. You just go and your fishing pole's right there because you put it there all the time. Now, stuff like that is very good. But on the other hand, it can get very bad, because if somebody comes behind you and moves it, again, it's one of those things that can start a fight. People get territorial. You know, I know we're sharing this house, and I know this area is for all of us, but this little part of it is mine, and don't touch my stuff. How many of y'all have brothers and sisters and you had to share a room growing up? Now, see, I didn't. I was adopted, so I was the only child. So my room was mine. But I can understand that being just because I did have a younger cousin. She grew up next door, and I mean, you know, it can cause problems. It really, really can. It's now, when I say OCD, you need to know what that is. OCD is a mental disorder. It's where people feel the need to just check things repeatedly, perform certain routines repeatedly. That's what I said when I called it a ritual. Okay, you have certain thoughts repeatedly. People are you're just unable to control it. Either the thoughts or the activities. You cannot control it. It just happens. And it happens for more than a short period of time. I'm talking, sometimes it's just a continuous thing. It can last years. It can be, you know, it is a mental disorder. Okay? When somebody says they are OCD, I mean, yeah. But now, I'm sure you have seen, look up, see if you can find some like videos or something that somebody is really, really like, just really OCD. It can be, I mean, it can be, if you're not used to it, you haven't been around the person that's doing it, you know, it can be unnerving. It can be scary. But I guess I'm talking more about just the organized part of it. It can be organization. You know, it's good to be organized. Militaries are organized. You know, businesses, they're organized. They need to be, or they won't function. Schools are organized. Your teachers organize things for a way. Your bosses organize things for a way. You know, just a certain way just to make them work. They have to. But the problem is, when you got too many people trying to organize the same thing, you can end up with total chaos and everybody being mad at each other, and the job doesn't get done anyway. That's when that's when you want to look at the people involved and say, okay, you're good at organizing this. You do that part. And you're good at making lists and keeping, you know, you do that part. You do this part. You do this part. I'll do this part here in the middle. And before you know it, everything is organized and neat. So when I say that people need to be organized, they do. Sometimes you have to pick a leader, okay? And usually that person is good at organizing people. That's their thing. That's their jam, you know? It's not all about making straight lines and, putting the red clay in one box and the purple clay in another box and the white clay in another box and being able to organize that way. Sometimes it's organizing people or the flow of time, So keep that in mind and find out where your strength is on the organizational chart, okay? Because seriously, if you're not good at organizing stuff, don't be in charge of it. If you are, then hey, I'll do that. Because to you, it might be a simple thing. Like my daughter making her list. Click, 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 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, column, column, column. I know everything I got to do for the next month. And you're sitting over here going, okay, now, was I going to do that Monday? Or was that Wednesday at 2? Oh, man, what am I going to do, So, just, if you're with like a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, a significant other, whatever, and this is becoming an issue, sit down and seriously talk about and organize yourselves. What are you good at? Well, I'm good at A, B, and C. Okay, well, I'm good at D, E, F. Why have we been fighting? Oh, why have we? Because y'all didn't take time to listen to each other. You didn't organize yourselves. Okay? Simple as that. Everything does not have to be World War III. Okay? So, O is for organized. And sometimes the best way to get organized is just to organize yourself. So, I guess I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Tell me what you think. Are you an organized person, or do you live better off in the land of chaos and clutter? And some people do. Alright, guys, the sun is coming up. I got to get back to work on my big, huge project, and I'll catch you later. This is MntDewMania. This is RedNeck Rants over here on Vox Populi. I'm so out of here. Later, guys.